Okay, so this is the second in our little mini series of lockdown productions, as we've called it, which is a Mickleover Golf Club meets. And today, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome to the TV screen, for want of a better phrase, and we've got our club president, Margaret Brooks. Hello, Margaret.
Hello, Tim.
How are you?
Fine, thanks. Yes, fine.
You coping with everything all right?
Oh yeah, yes. Yeah. Trying to keep safe and alive.
Absolutely. Well, we'll get straight on. I mean, I've known you obviously for what seems like, well, it's a long time. I remember meeting for the first time back in 1988 when I was the assistant. So that's over 30 years, but more recently, since I've been the pro since 1994. And before we kind of go through a little bit about your golfing history and career, so just take us back to the beginning, how you started playing golf and when really, and how old you were.
Yeah, well, I was sort of late teens, probably 15, 16 years old, when I first picked up a golf club. It was my mother really that introduced me. She was a member of Marple Golf Club, which is sort of just over the county border into Cheshire. Okay. And I sort of learnt, from her really, and I joined there, and I got very keen very quickly. Yeah. Had a few lessons from the pro Romilly. I think he was called Gordon Good, if I can remember. Quite an elderly chap. Well, he seemed elderly to me at the time.
They're all old back then.
yeah. And then sort of started from there. But my sort of Bible really was this book that we had at home. It was a golf book, and it was a very old golf book, and it just sort of had everything in about golf. It was a very sort of old-fashioned book, but I used to just sort of it around with me, even on the golf course. I used to get it out, and say, think, now where should the ball position be? So that was my Bible really, and I carried that around. And also I had a long playing record. It was Peter Thompson, the Australian golfer. It was a long playing vinyl record. Can you imagine that now?
Wow.
Mind you, we're vinyl, aren't we?
Mm.
And I used to sort of put that on the gramophone and play that. And he was a good teacher, Peter Thompson. And he only actually died a couple of years ago, I think. And,
yeah, he did. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was that. That and Tommy Armour's book, How to Play Your Best Golf All the Time, I think it was called. And so I used to study that the whole time, really. And then sort of I played for a bit, and then sort of 18, I disappeared off to London and did my teacher training for 3 years, and didn't sort of play much except sort of when I came home. And then I had 1 year teaching at home at a local school. In the meantime, I'd met Derek in London. And although we only lived a few miles apart, actually in Cheshire, but we met in London through friends. Wow. And then he got the golfing bug as well. He joined Marple, and we played there for a year, quite a lot. And then on marriage, we moved to Derby because that's where we'd both got jobs. So
right.
Sort of really how it started.
How's the start? So a couple of things that obviously joining golf clubs and things haven't changed, and obviously having lessons, it's very much the way forward. It's interesting that you started off with. The thing that has changed is that you are looking in a book, and now we're getting instruction from Zoom calls, YouTube. Yeah. People sending us personal video. I mean, what's changed is the way that a pro or a pro of the back in the day, either Tommy Armour, I think, or Peter Thompson you mentioned, were writing books. Now they've got their own channel and they're talking to people on a one-to-one basis to get them involved in the game. But ultimately, you used media, which was your book, and the Golf Pro, which was great. It's not changed in that time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, obviously, you said, I think you said you came to Derby for Derek's employment. I think you said that. And so what happened then? You from a playing golf perspective.
I mean, he was sort of at the railway, the research place on the London Road, and I sort of gave up my teaching job in Alice Street and had then 2 girls, and I think. Before that, we actually went to Symphony. That was the municipal course that was, the only place we knew in Derby, really. We didn't know the area. And had a game there, and you know, people saw two fairly young people on the first tee and came rushing out. Are you members? Are you members? You know, are you going to join? Are you going to join? Very, very welcoming place.
Wow.
And I think by the end of the day, we'd become members. We didn't know anything else about golf in Derbyshire at all, but they were very friendly, and we joined almost on the spot. And so we spent 10 very, very happy years there.
Wow.
They were a great crowd.
How did Symphony, again, without getting into too much detail, the Symphony or Derby Golf Club of today? I mean, I think there was a fire of the clubhouse back a long time ago.
It was after we went, actually. We'd left there, so it must have been in the 70s that happened, because we left. And the only reason we left, I mean, it was a terrific place to be a member. Everybody was very, very sociable, and there was lots of golf at the weekend, which was great for me. Because I was teaching full time then. And the only thing that made us move to Mickleover, or move out of away from Symphony, was that I'd got two young children at the time, sort of in the 70s, and stuck at home all day, desperate to go and have a game of golf. Got the meal ready at night, rushed off to Symphony, to Derby Golf Club, to have a game. And I got there, and there were about 12 people on the first tee. And I thought, oh, you know, 7:30 at night, been waiting all day, you know, to get a game. And I just came home and said, I'm going to have to leave here. You know, it's I just need a place where I can go in my limited spare time and get a game of golf. So then we thought, well, where do we go? At the time, we were living at Littleover, so it was sort of either Mickleover or Kedleston. And I didn't know anybody really at either course, because you didn't get to know people unless you played in matches, really. There weren't the open days that there were now. So I played 1 or 2 matches at Mickleover for the Derby team. I played at Kendleston as well, but the choice was Mickleover, and you know, not regretted it.
Never look back.
Never look back. No.
So it's 1976, I think you said you joined there. So that's 44 years, which is fantastic. Yeah. And during that time, I've just got a couple of bits on my screen here. I'm just going to go through a couple of things for you to actually. I mean, I remember you, just from my perspective, 96, you were captain alongside Derek. So you're both captain and lady captain at the same time. And I remember playing.
Captain the same year.
Sorry, say that again.
Captain the same year. So it was a 3-way captaincy, that was.
Wow. So you were Derbyshire captain the same year. I'd forgotten that. That was excellent. But I remember playing, certainly with you and Derek, and I know Gene Bingham, we used to play sometimes some, like the Alliances. I remember playing at Mickleover. I think you won some watches, didn't you?
We did. I've still got that watch. One job.
Brilliant. I remember that. And I remember playing a few pro-ams with a ladies team, which you'd always be in. And of course, over that period, I mean, I would, if I had to describe you, I'd say that you were very thoughtful golfer. You really took your time, and not that I mean slow. I'm not saying slow at all. You took your time. You were methodical, and you practiced. You're a real dedicated practicer. You would often come down, and you always said to me, "I quite enjoy practicing, Tim." And you would come down at all manner of times and take a tube of balls, and you go away and do some practice.
Yeah, like practicing. Still like practicing. Still like it. Yeah.
So a couple of the highlights that I've got on the screen here. So I'll just go through them because I think people will be interested. You shot a 73 or scored a 73 gross in the Mickleover Ladies Open in 1996, which at the time was a course record, and that was your busy year. So that was absolutely fantastic. This was what I was really impressed with, and you have to tell me if it's the same round. Oh, it is the same round. You scored a birdie 2 on each of the par 4 par 3s.
It wasn't that particular round when it was the course record. It was another round.
Wow.
Another round, and I really regret not saving that card because, I mean, that was something else. And I can remember standing on the 17th tee, having got a birdie on the other 3 par 3s, and thinking, no way. And, you know, it just happened. So really, that was a really highlight in my sort of golfing life, because not many people do that. In fact,
I just say that's a massive achievement. I mean, our par 3s are tough anyway, but you know, to birdie all of them is superb.
Yes, the same round. Yeah.
Obviously, your handicap, you've been down as low as 8. I think I remember saying.
Old handicap system where it was the best of your average of 4 scores, and of course now we're coming back to that in some way, aren't we? You know. heading back towards the average of your not 4 scores, but more than that.
Yeah.
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 And then obviously one of the you've won all the trophies apart from the Wells Cup. That one eludes you, but I've thought, like you say, probably one of your major highlights as well was being invited to be the club president in 2018. So going to your 3rd year.
Yeah. That was a real honour to be asked, and you know, it showed that the club was moving forward as well. I think, you know, it took 90 odd years to get a female president, but we're moving in the right direction.
Absolutely. And then really, was we going to, obviously you've been a big county player, and you've been you've got your colours for the first and the second team, and you've been county captain just the once.
Well, it was a 2-year stint originally. 95, 96 was the first time. And then when we had the centenary year of the Derbyshire Ladies County Golf Association, which was 2008, I was invited back to be the centenary captain. So, you know, being centenary captain was very special
Right.
for me, you know, to be the Derbyshire captain. And of course, that sort of involved a lot of planning. I think it took us about 5 years to plan that centenary and all the celebrations, and to write the book, because I've got I'm the co-author of the county book. Okay. And it took a lot of research, because I went through all the county minutes from 1908. And they were very, very beautifully written, but so beautiful that was the script that you could hardly sort of decipher all the words, you know. So that was very, very interesting. And coming across all the names and all the champions and what people had done in the past and how the association had developed, that was really very, very interesting indeed for me.
Yeah, wow.
And the other interesting thing was, it was Maggie Wild and I that wrote this book, Maggie Wild from Kettleston, and we contacted all the clubs and asked them to do a little paragraph on their history. So that's in the book, and that is very important, especially when you're looking for clubs who are celebrating the centenary and that sort of thing. Now, I did have a look the other night, and there was only Derby Golf Club that's the same year as us. Cavendish are very near, or were very near, but not quite, which is a shame, really, because that would have been good to share Mickleover centenary with Cavendish.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can see on here that you had a hole-in-one in a county match against Warwickshire on the 14th at Erewash, and you had one. Say it again.
Village Pound, they call that hole at Erewash. Village Pound.
That's the one that goes across the top with a little bit of a drop off the side, isn't it? Yeah, okay, I know that one well. And the second at Matlock, which is a great hole-in-one. I mean, obviously all hole-in-ones are good, but it's a good par 3, that.
Yeah, nobody knew about that one. I was playing in an evening medal with Jenny Dealey, wife of Mike Dealey, who was the pro, and we were playing in the evening, and there was nobody in the clubhouse at all, nobody to celebrate it with at all. But the one at Erewash, I didn't see that, obviously, because it's sort of a slightly raised. Yeah. But there were a lot of Warwickshire and Derbyshire spectators at the back of the green in those trees. And, of course, you know, all the arms went up. And so that was a bit special.
Yeah. Brilliant.
I got that card anyway.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, I've had 5, and one of my 5 was at Matlock, funnily enough, and that was on the 4th.
Oh, yes.
That's the only one I've seen go in of mine. All the rest, like you say, it's often you don't see them go in behind a bunker or whatever, raised green. So, okay, that's pretty impressive. Now, you've also been...
Mickleover, not at Mickleover.
You've never had one at Mickleover?
No. I've marked Pat Wright. She's had one.
Yes.
She had one on the 13th, but I've never actually had one myself, no.
It's time.
Time, yes, yeah.
I know, if you keep practicing, like I told you. So you've also been county president, and you're now an honorary member of Derbyshire. So ultimately, you've got a lot of service to Derbyshire over the years, and in more ways than one, as an officer, as a captain, and obviously as a president. And you've enjoyed that.
Well, I have really. I mean, I sort of really started getting involved with the county. I suppose the early 90s. As a player, I was sort of spotted there And the reason for that was I played in the county championship, and I'd taken Lindsay Shaw, who was the #1 player at the time, to the 18th green at Erewash. And I gave a bit of a surprise, really. I mean, it could have gone either way. It went right onto the green, and that was in the semi-finals. And that's the furthest I'd got. And she went on to win with Dorian Andrews as the runner-up. And the other losing semi-finalist was Katie Doyle-Davidson from Cavendish. So that was my best achievement. But so then, you see, I started being noticed by the captain and then invited to be on the county team, second team and then first team. And then you sort of get involved. You get onto the committees, and I was on the county committee for quite a long time, training officer, the first ever training officer. When the Golfing Association wanted, Elgar, I think it was at the time, or Ugar, I can't remember which, wanted every county to have a training officer. So I was a training officer for 2 or 3 years, organising all the training, and then, you know, went on to be the captain, and went on the committee, and just sort of, you know, being a busy person, really.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
I like it. I remember, I think in my second year at Mickleover, I think it was 95, I refereed the final, the ladies' final at Mickleover. I think it was you that would have got me to do it. I remember putting on, I had a green blazer at the time, so like I'd won the Masters, and collar and tie. And I remember it was between Lindsay and it was Lisa Walters, who's now Lisa Sherville, and obviously turned pro. And I speak to her relatively regularly. I think you saw in my golf day last year. And I remember refereeing that final. At the end of each hole, I had to shout out the score. Hole halved in 2 or whatever it was. Yeah.
Very important job. Yes, very important. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, and then of course, really, I mean, obviously this is a major highlight. You've been involved at with the English Senior Ladies Golf Association.
Yes.
Really quite high up. I mean, you know, I'm just looking through some things on here. You've been, and again, and you can elaborate in a minute. Committee member and chairman for 3 years. You've organised the Seniors European Championship, on the committee for the Seniors European Championship when he was at Pleasington Golf Club. And of course, you were invited to be the manager of the English seniors team in the home international matches, which were held at Whittington Heath. Yeah. Wow, that's amazing, Margaret. I mean, I did know that, but you've just reminded me when I look at your list of achievements there. That's fantastic.
Well, it sounds probably a little bit more important than it is, because when you're actually the manager, you're the dog's body, organising the meals in the evening and that sort of thing. The captain was Bridget Jackson, and who was a very well-known player, but she I think she was the one that really wanted me to be her manager, because I think she thought I'd do quite a good job. But yeah, that was good. I mean, we had all the best players from the English seniors team, you know, real good scratch players playing, and Vivian Saunders was one of them, and she'd got her amateur status back by that time. But yes, it was very good, you know, because it was England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and we won it, so that was great.
Wow.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. Yeah. And of course, I also see on there that you was the chairman and the committee member for 3 years, and you accompanied the seniors team to the European Championships, and it says in France, Finland, Spain and Ireland. That's amazing as well.
Well, that was nice, because as chairman, you know, you're invited to, you know, go along with the team, accompany the team, and you know, support them there. But that was a really good experience, because, you know, there are places, well, I mean, France, you'd go to, but I would never go probably to Ireland and sort of be involved in golf, or Iceland rather, or Finland. But that was a really good experience for me, you know, to and of course, organising the European Championship at Pleasington, that was a terrific experience, because it was England's turn to host this championship, and all the European ladies sent a team. I think we had about 14 teams, you know, Switzerland and France and Spain and Portugal and, well, you know, all over. And we had to find a team, a venue that was sort of reasonably near an airport, good accommodation, you know, find some decent sponsors and what have you. And luckily, one of the members of our committee, she was a member of Royal Lytham and St Anne's, and so she knew about Pleasington probably better than we did. So we got that course, which is a great course. I don't know if you've played it. It's a superb course. and there was a very good McDonald's hotel nearby, not the burger place, but the, McDonald's chain. So we organised that, and we got I don't know if on the motorways if you've ever seen a firm called Bowkers, Bowkers. They're transport people, and you see them on the motorways all the time. They were our major sponsors, and they had a BMW dealership and also this transport business, and they put a lot of money our way. And they went to Manchester Airport and collected in their big BMWs all these European ladies that were coming from various places. And, we really did a good job in organising that. And the other thing was we wrote to Hillbilly, the trolley people, and they gave us, not lent us, they gave us 40 Hillbilly trolleys to use for the championship on condition that we just sort of sold them off, at the end. Well, most of them had only done 2 or 3 rounds, so we sold those. I actually bought 2, and Derek and I have only just sort of given up playing with these hillbillies since 2005. They were really good trolleys, top of the range hillbillies. So that was another good thing. But it was so it was so interesting, hosting all these European ladies, and they're very smart. I mean, the ladies, sort of Germans and the Swiss people, you've got to have a certain amount of cash, I think, over there to play golf. It's not golf for all, really, as it is in this country. And that was a super experience.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So just going back to Mickleover then, and of course, obviously, family-wise, I mean, a lot of people know that obviously Derek, your husband, was captain in '96 as well, and plays obviously, and you've both been integral parts of the club. He was chairman again, as well as a former chairman of the golf club. So, you've both been massively involved in Mickleover Golf Club. Probably, I mean, it was before my time, as in being there from the outset. But what would you say, and what's your favourite thing, and what would you say is is Mickleover when we talk about different clubs, and it's very much this, it's very much that. What would you say that we do well, or we've done well over the years, and what you like about Mickleover?
Yeah, well, it's the sort of place. Well, it's the warmth of the place, I think. First of all, Tim, it's a very warm community, and you can go in that clubhouse at any time of the day, on any day of the week, and there are people there. There are people to talk to, and it's not one of these clubs that you go into, as other clubs are, where there's nobody there. It's always busy, and I think that says a lot about the club. And they're not only golfers. I mean, they're people, as you know, from outside coming and eating and drinking, what have you. Yeah. So it's a very warm club. To me, it's a sort of a community, and I think. Also, it serves a social purpose as well, because there are a lot of people, and as we're all getting older, a lot of people that are on their own now, not only ladies, and there are a lot of ladies that are on their own, but men as well on their own. And it's companionship, it's somewhere to go. And I'm sure at this time, there are a lot of people missing that side of the golf club. Yeah. But it is. And if you've got a problem, I mean, we have problems with our mobile phone. I mean, I'm not very good at technology, as you probably know, but if you have a little problem, there's always somebody there. I'll sort it out. There's always somebody that knows somebody that can give you a helping hand, and I think it's absolutely great. It's just like a big family, really.
It is. It's just like a family. You're absolutely at the nail on the head there. You kind of took the words. It is, and that's what golf clubs, probably many golf clubs, are like that. And of course, as we stay at one club, and again, I've not been there as long as you have, but I've been there a long time, and the familiarity and the warmth, like you say, and it's just a nice place to go. I mean, if I wasn't the pro at Mickleover, and I'm not just saying this, I would 100% want to be a member there, because it's I know everybody. I wouldn't want to go anywhere else. It suits what I would want from that type of pastime, really.
Yeah, and also you're saying that that has a lot to do with the club. I mean, we've got you as the professional, been there a long time. We've got Julie, who's an absolute star. We've got superb ground staff. We've got a secretary who's been there a long time. Everybody that's a key person in that club has been there a long time, and that says a lot about the club. I mean, you hear about other clubs locally even. Oh, we're looking for a new secretary again. We're looking for new caterers again. You don't hear that at Mickleover. You know, everybody sort of is a team, and the team works well together. And I think, you know, that is such an important part of the club.
Yeah, I'd agree, and it's good that you see that. And so going on to back to your golf game then. So what's the if you had to pick one thing that was your strength, what's your biggest strength in your golf game? What would you put? What would you say?
Well, I don't know that anything's really a strength at the moment.
It must be. Come on, Margaret.
Well, I don't know. I think actually course management, because especially at Mickleover, it's what I call a dot-to-dot course. It's one of these places where you've got to plot your way around. You've got to hit a shot that makes the next shot easy. And I think probably I'm okay at that. I can sort of think my way around. The shots might not be all that brilliant, but I can think my way around what I've got to do next. I suppose it's a bit like a game of chess, you know, where you think of the next move, really. I don't think anything is a particularly strong bit at the moment, but no, you know, well, as you know, one thing comes on well, and then you lose something else. You either have a good day at driving and then a rotten day at putting, or vice versa. But yeah, I can get round.
I think you're right, though. I think when you look at Mickleover, I mean, a lot of people look at the length of it, and I know it's slightly different between the gents and the ladies, etc. But everybody thinks they can just boom and do a good score. And of course, as we know, it's literally, it's course management, it's placement, and it's trying to, because there's not lots of opportunities for birdies if you're, for example, a real low handicapper or a pro. But it's trying to just make sure you don't ruin your card. And there's plenty of places that you can ruin your card.
Oh yeah. I mean, there are some really difficult holes. I mean, I found the 10th a really difficult hole because you have to land it on a sixpence round that corner, you know, otherwise you're blocked. Either side you're blocked. So that's a difficult hole. The 16th is a very difficult hole, especially as that ditch has sort of appeared, which doesn't seem to be serving any useful purpose, but that's another matter. Yeah, that is a very difficult hole now. The 15th is actually difficult because you know, for ladies, because you're going to be stuck behind a tree, you know, unless you're very careful. But there are very, very difficult holes, and so you've got to place your ball try and place your ball in the right position for the next shot.
Okay. I think that really sums it up. That's been a fantastic insight. I mean, I know, again, I didn't know everything, by the way, there. I knew a number of things because I say I've known you for such a long time. But I mean, I think there'll be a number of people who think, wow, I didn't realise that lady that's photographs above the bar, right? Because the captain's one has gone somewhere towards the snooker room. I didn't realise that she'd achieved and done all that. I mean, I remember you've been off single figures for what I thought was quite a while, because I used to play with you quite a lot. And so you was always off 8 or 9. And you was always very, very steady. But you know, a brilliant insight into that. Would you like to finish off with anything, Margaret?
Well, not really. I mean, I think the aim as you get older is to try and score lower than your age, isn't it? Really. So probably that's a bit of an ambition.
And a hole in one, of course, at Mickleover. That'd be fantastic. Can get one of those on there.
Wells Cup. A Wells Cup has eluded me. I think probably it's a handicap cup, and there's always somebody done a good score, you know, coming down on the handicap. And of course, you know, often it's sort of in the summer when, you know, I'm not available anyway. I'm perhaps looking after grandchildren or something, so I'm not always available for that one. But yeah. Anyway, been great talking to you.
Fantastic. Well, there we go, everybody. So that's Margaret Brooks, the Mickleover Golf Club president. And we're hoping to have the next one in the Mickleover Meet series. We're going to be going for another former chairman and past captain and definite character. We're going to be having Ted Harrison in the hot seat. So we'll see you all soon.